Okay, good morning. My name is Dr. Atulolapef Daramala. This is supposed to be a live episode. However, due to network issues over almost a month, I have now decided to pre-record and post on our platforms. I will still respond in real time. However, to avoid missing out on all the content that we have, I think this is going to work for now. So, the topic for today is going to be about safety circles. This month, we're celebrating a number of things, including polio eradication, including the International Girl Child Day, among other things. And so, these two areas are where we will be talking about this month. So, today, we're talking about safety circle. What is safety circle? If you have been a parent at any of our programs, you would realize that safety circle is one of the things that we seriously emphasize. Now, let us start by defining what a safety circle is. A safety circle is a group of people that you feel safe around. You feel safe with them enough to talk about things that matter to you, no matter how sensitive they are. Now, a safety circle must always involve an adult. Now, when we say an adult, it doesn't have to be a family member, and I'll address this later. However, your safety circle, regardless of your age, must have one or two adults in them. The choice of who stays in your safety circle is really, really personal. And I say this because there's a lot of misconception about safety circles. A lot of times when we talk about safety circles, some people think we're talking about your parents or your siblings or your family members. No. That is the traditional safety circle that has held communities up for a long time. However, recent happenings has shown that your safety circle does not have to include people that you do not trust. An adult being part of your safety circle should not be dependent on their relationship with you. I say this because even now, a lot of children that are abused by people they know and oftentimes family members. However, your safety circle needs to be somebody you can talk to if you are being placed under pressure, either by family, by friends, or by school authorities. Even if it is by people in authority like your church leaders, your choir masters, your football coaches, your safety circle needs to be somebody you can call. If, for example, you have been assaulted, you have been violated, or you feel that your privacy is being intruded upon. So the choice of a safety circle is something that is very critical to everyone regardless of their age. However, based on the concept of the foundation, we are going to be emphasizing the safety circle as it engages with children. Now, a child safety circle needs to be a circle of people that the child has access to. And that is why most times predators tend to isolate children that they seek to abuse. One of the critical stages of grooming or that is done by predators is isolation, which means they make sure that the child only has access to people within their own circle. People whom, when the child talks to, they will be able to say the child is the one that is thinking wildly. And this then brings me to the fact that institutions that are designed to protect children need to become more proactive. We had a program recently, and you'll be surprised, when we did our safety circle game, a lot of the children eliminated their family members from their safety circle. And some even eliminated their church leaders from their safety circles. How then do we begin to identify people who can be in the safety circle? This is a personal thing. There is no one plan fits all. Because for some children, they cannot trust their schools. And so we say this to help people around. If as a parent, you want your child to be safe, one of the things we emphasize in the Child Protection Network is that first and foremost, we prevent. How do you then prevent your child from from having access to a safe circle in cases of in contact cases with predators? It is by making sure that even though you're being protective, you still give them the confidence or the freedom to choose. A lot of parents tend to say, oh, why don't you like going to your uncle's place? Okay, you guys are going there for the next holiday. Have you engaged with your child as to why they don't want to go there? Have you tried to interact with your child to know why they will prefer to spend their holidays with a particular relative and not with a particular relative? Have you taken time to inquire why your children would rather engage with some cousins and not some cousins? When you go to church, because you are in a society, why doesn't your child like to engage with members of your society or your church club? Why does your children avoid church? Do your children avoid church activities? Why do your children not look forward to sporting engagements, which are supposed to be fun? While a lot of this could be based on your child's personality, it could also be based on the fact that they are not comfortable in that setting. Now, take note, no matter how you feel about a setting, if your child does not feel confident or comfortable in that setting, as a parent or as a person of authority, the child's feeling of comfort in a circumstance is something that you should not take lightly. Because a lot of times, these are the pointers to whether your child is feeling safe or not. And I will say this, a lot of parents, when I talk to them, I tell them, when your child is in a victim situation, you might want to look at how you got to that point where your child was placed in a victim situation. Because a lot of times, it is not a one-off incident. It is a series of incidents which you ignored. Your child would have told you, oh, I don't like the way this auntie relates. I don't like the way this uncle relates. But if your response is, your father's brother, your mother's sister, no, they are the ones I can trust. That's not what your child is hearing. That's what you're saying. I hear you loud and clear. And it's not that your child is not hearing you. But what you have also said is that I don't want to hear it. Do not insinuate that my network is a danger to you. By insinuating that my network is a danger to you, I will deal with you. You need to keep quiet if you feel endangered by my network. Those are the things you have said to the child when you say, you like talking nonsense. So what I'm saying is that next holiday we are going to uncle's place. Next holiday we are going to auntie's place. For you, you might think you're trying to build family bond. But what you are doing is telling your child that as long as these people are involved, I am not a safe space. Whether you like it or not, that is what you have communicated. The same thing applies when your child comes back and tells you, the way my teacher touched me today, or the way my teacher spoke to me was uncomfortable. That conversation needs to go like this. What did the teacher do? Why did you feel uncomfortable? What do you think the teacher should have done? How do you think the teacher should have handled it? Now, sometimes your child is reporting in third party because your child is not confident about your response. However, if your response is aggressive, then the child is thinking, I really don't want my parents to go to school shouting. Because again, the children are not comfortable with you coming in an aggressive manner to defend them. However, if you are interacting and you are getting the child's feedback and the child says, the teacher could have talked about it, they didn't need to beat to address it. You could then say, but do you know, maybe the teacher spoke about it and the person did not respond. That way you're communicating and you're getting feedback, and then you can guide your child as to why the teacher might have responded that way or why you feel that is the way the teacher could have handled it. However, a lot of our parents, in trying to establish authority and support the teacher's authority, you no longer listen to your child. You just try to establish an automatic authority for the people around the child. And a lot of times what you have done, like I said, is to tell your child that as long as these people are involved, I am not your safe space. And so your child seeks a safe space that does not include you. Now, a safety circle is the circle that your child trusts. And sometimes, mommies and daddies, you're not in that circle. That's a reality we have to face. Sometimes you are not part of the circle that your child trusts enough to talk about the first time somebody touches them intimately. The first time a teacher hits their butt. The first time a neighbor tickles their breast. The first time an auntie refers to their penis. These are issues that they want to talk about. But if at one point or the other in their lives, you have told them that you are not a safe space when it involves this person, then they won't come to you. The question then becomes, who do they go to? Because when you do not make yourself a safe space for your child seeks the safe space outside of you. And in doing this, they might not make the right judgments. And so they appeal because a lot of you listening are parents, your uncles, your aunties. The appeal is that if you have a child around you who looks up to you and wants to speak to you, please try to be the listening ear, because a child is not going to come and say, oh, auntie, uncle, I'm trying to build a safe circle and I'd like you to be in my safe circle. No. Most times that is not how we establish safe circles. We establish our safe circles by having maybe one uncle or one auntie who says, come, you're looking unhappy. What's happening with you? And you go, well, it's nothing. You can talk to me. I like you. I like the fact that you're smart. I like the fact that you're hardworking. I like the fact that you're this, you're that. And the child goes, if I tell you, can you promise not to tell my mom? As a child protector, because we are all child protectors, then you can commit to not telling the mom. And the child would then say, okay, fine. But this was what happened when I was coming today. That's our uncle that normally stays with us. Whenever my mommy is not at home, he likes to touch me, so I don't look forward to going home. You're like, oh, how does he touch you? No, he's not exactly like he does anything, but he can't talk without hitting me, and I don't like it. Now you are not in the home, and the child has basically told you, this person has not assaulted me. However, I am not comfortable with the way I'm being touched, so I might want to hang outside till my parents are around, which is why you saw the child outside. Now you could do a number of things, one of which could be, okay, so when does your mom come back? Around 5. What if you come around and I take you through your homework? Or should I give you a chair so you wait outside my house? Because again, you have to be safe while saving others. And sometimes, because you do not know the precise situation, you do not want to be implicated. So you could say, okay, let me give you a chair so you stay outside of my own door while you wait for your mom, instead of just loafing around and making yourself a prey to others. You've kept the child safe. Whether you realize it or not, what you've done is told the child that I hear you loud and clear, I support you, and in supporting you, I'm willing to give you a space where you can actually be comfortable till your parents come back. You might not be aware, but that child has seen a safe person in you. And so if finally something happens, maybe not even involving uncle, maybe a teacher then does something, the child would come, sit at the space you have created, and then, good afternoon, how are you? How was school today? Goes, auntie, come, what do you think? My teacher did this, my teacher did that. Children want to talk, they just need somebody who would listen. And so the child begins to talk to you. He begins to tell you everything that is happening. Now, my fellow protector, your role is not to now carry that information and turn to Radio Nigeria. And then every time there is somebody around, that girl, she's a good girl, but the uncle does this, the mommy does this, the daddy is not around. And see, the purpose of you being a safe space is that you are not supposed to be Radio Nigeria. One of your roles is supposed to be able to keep confidence, which is that you don't talk. Even if uncle comes around you and is trying to hug the girl, instead of saying, she has said that's what you always do, you can just say, Tina, help me get water inside the house. Uncle will not say Tina should not go and get water for you. Tina will go and get the water, and Tina can reposition herself when she gets back. It's not everything that you hear that you must do cho-cho-cho about. You see, we like to do cho-cho-cho, and this cho-cho-cho is a problem. There are ways to deal with these things. If Tina's mother comes around and is trying to say, come, you came back from school since you've been in Auntie Tolu's place, why didn't you go home? Then you'll be like, no, since he's always the only one inside, that's why I said she can call me. At least if he's here, me too, I'll be saying her to gist with now and then. It's not compulsory that you go and tell Tina's mother that Tina said. When you do that, you are not helping the situation. So wisdom profited. So that is how you can help Tina or Linkechi without actually telling their mom anything. And then they realize that Tina's mommy is not exactly a bad person. We know that. And so Tina's mommy will be like, if she's happy staying there, in that case, when you come back tomorrow, I beg, when Tina comes back, these beans, let her pick it while she's waiting. You have successfully helped Tina to escape whatever discomfort she was feeling at home till her mommy comes. And you did all this without telling anybody what Tina told you. The same thing applies to our boys. If you see a boy just hanging around, Oga, what is going on? If I go inside now, daddy will be sending me to buy alcohol and I don't like going to that place. Okay. So where's your daddy now? He's sleeping inside. Okay. Daddy Toby, I want Toby to help me out with something here. Okay. Pending when Toby's mommy comes or when whatever person is looking at. Old Toby, do your homework. Do this, do that. Before they realize it, even Daddy Toby will be telling you, auntie, I noticed that Toby, the work he doesn't do for me in the house, he does it for you. Toby, you don't do work for daddy. Oh yeah, quickly go and help your daddy do the one he wants to do. Come back and help me in 20 minutes. Now, you think most people don't know that they are making the children uncomfortable? They know. In the 5 or 10 minutes that child is going to be inside, they'll say, you cook soon finish and run to your auntie's house. You too like that auntie. It's as if she's your mommy. Smile. You don't need to look them in. You don't need to make it into a fight. You need to be able to support children without being aggressive, because your aggression also scares them. And even as parents, you need to know this. When you are aggressively responding to situations, you also scare the children. You are not helping anybody. It's not only police matter we're avoiding. Your aggression can also turn the child inside out and make the child wonder if they made the right choice. Because when you are aggressive, they then change and try to protect themselves from that aggression that you are bringing. So you also need to be diplomatic in the way you are handling the children and their engagements with you. Okay? How you respond also decides if the child is going to come back to you to say more, or if the child is going to run from you. Whether you are going to qualify for a safe circle. Okay? So if you're trying to be a safe circle for a child or somebody around you, then it is important that even you know how to respond to situations without scaring the child. Again, remember, if you are aggressive, the child might suffer backlash when they go back home. Okay? So you are not helping the child in your aggression. You need to learn to regulate enough and respond to the situation with wisdom, so that a child around you, not necessarily your child, can think of you when they need a safe circle. I hope I've been able to impact something into you today, and I hope it's something you will be able to practice. I look forward to your feedback. Again, I am Dr. Tolu Alokwe Daramola, the founder of Menitos Charity Foundation, project lead for War Against Child Abuse and Drug Abuse, a drug awareness coach, and a child protector. I look forward to seeing you next time.